line here for these two teams. We kick things off here on Dust2 between FlyQuest Red and MIBR.
FlyQuest will be on that T side, surging into that long position. Going well so far, plenty of Glocks to eliminate these CTs. 4 girls on road for FlyQuest. Utility to deploy as well. Danny trying to close the distance, but the smoke is good enough. Not finding much of anything there apart from lead going in the wrong direction. Danny in a 1 versus 4 then takes one in the face, and she won't last much longer than that. A promising start for FlyQuest. I think the pistol rounds will be important for them as an underdog for me in this series.
Yeah, it's a really good set of utility as well, just to help them burst through those doors and get in towards long and kind of overrun the 1 or 2 players that are already there. Once you've got that space, the fact that they had a little bit of utility, a couple of smokes, just to allow them to be able to cross. And obviously, when you're coming up against pistols, it's a tap, tap, tap. It's not like a spray down. So you've got a lot more space to work with. You can really slip past behind those smokes and get that space. And so that allows Emmy to get into an elevated position, and she can follow that up, get another kill. And before you know it, the entire round has fallen apart for MIBR. So I'm going to be feeling pretty good about that one. And of course, on the T side, you want to be winning those pistol rounds. You want to be getting that extra bit of cash in the back pocket, because that economy can be devastating to deal with. My question now becomes, how do MIBR respond to this? Because we often see a second round force after a pistol loss. And we always say, you know, high risk, high reward. But for a team like MIBR, it often does come to fruition. But the potential economic consequences could kind of, you know, cut that Achilles heel.
We shall see after this tech pause. I'm admiring the keyboards in the meantime. Some cold hands here. They're often in halls with concrete floors, as such is the nature of the places where you are afforded the space to put on a big LAN. Dallas, home of brisket and potato salad.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can go to some like family-run BBQ restaurants.
Okay.
And I went to one when I was in Dallas last, and the guy was saying, you got to have more potato salad. It's very encouraging about the potato salad, so that was a thing to look out for. Very nice. So indeed, there will be plenty of tools picked up by MIBR, having lost the pistol. The 5.7s will be about. A few smoke grenades also. And FlyQuest are looking for this and dealing with this very handily indeed. And this is a good start for FlyQuest. We need to have them hold this level of focus throughout the series and not take the foot off the gas. One tag for Younger. She's getting isolated fights here. Is that really what you want to do? 1v2. We have seen some crazy clutches with a Scout in Impact before. Can it be done on land, though, in the hands of Younger? Does she have an idea of where the players are? Oh, got to land the headshot now. Even with the Scout, MIBR showing that they can be scary, and you can't be slack because they will punish.
At least they keep that a little bit expensive. I was surprised that after the kill towards double doors, she doesn't go and retrieve the weapon and opts to kind of try and go for this with that Scout. Now, obviously, I don't think she was expecting to win that round, but just keep it as expensive as possible. And I think that there's a world in which instead of going for that, she picks up that weapon and she just gets the hell out of there, keeps that into this round, because as mentioned, economic hamstring after forcing into that. The risk did not pay off. That's another solid round looking like for FlyQuest.
Oh, that's not gone well, has it? And the numbers are still here for the CTs. They're going to have weapons to collect as the desperate rotation comes through. I'm not sure if there were flashes when the swing started to come in there. All the utility at the beginning had promise, but anyway, a second kill here for Emmy would be very strong indeed. That's the AK taken away, and that is the main threat. 3 high health players remaining. Just the odd P250 in this round, though. You have to think about what this might mean when those half buys come in, when you've got 5.7s and Kevlar later on. Then MIBR will be a lot closer to winning a round such as this. Not over just yet, though. Younger still having a look, swinging with that P250. Now, she knows that she's in a 1v1, basically. She spotted another player a little earlier on. Still with the P250. Is she just going to hold it? She will be punished for it, but again, very expensive. And in the long run, all these frags will put FlyQuest on eco should they lose a round quickly.
They're slowly whittling away there. It was a bit surprising that she hadn't... I thought she had picked up the AK, but I guess not. And I suppose she didn't think that it was going to come down to the fight, right? It was just, I'm going to try and ninja this because time is really just not on my side. So fair enough, an attempt was made. A little bit of more economic damage done. But now we have 2 AWPs on board here. And of course, the isolating potential here to put pressure on the riflers is super important. And of course, taking Poppins off the board, it's not a bad way to kick things off.
I'm still thinking about the... I'm pretty sure there wasn't a flash when they swung in after those mollies and smokes and so on. And there's more than one way they could have done that. Hopefully, lessons learned. And a conversation with Hanka. She was saying in general, there could be more flashes. Got away with it that time, though. And a good start in the first buy round, this 5-on-4. You can see MIBR very hungry to find a way into this round, and that they have done. Are they content with that, or are they going for more? FlyQuest being held at top mid here, really. Starting to peek out of long. He did get that frag there earlier on, but didn't pursue. But now they have an understanding as to what map control they might have. Now, do they try to take over short? We're heading towards that 40-second mark. They might have to just all send it up long. I don't know if they've got time, really, to risk establishing that control, potentially losing a player. It seems that Goose will be left to try and creep there, but I can see that Danny is on the way for a challenge. Very awkward indeed for Goose now. 30 seconds on the clock. Will there be a flash? Do they have a flash to throw towards Younger's position? Or are they just facing long with no flashes? Well, that is in their favor, to say the very least. 4-on-3 as they make their way to the site. CTs try to get into position to stop this bomb from being planted, but the AKs are delivering, and MIBR are hitting the floor one after another. Goddess still in the fight, though. Where is the other player? That is the question. She's got half the info. Can she isolate the fight? Can she bait a peek somehow? Emmy with a big headshot there. And that is, well, the wheels keep turning for FlyQuest again. Big frag at the beginning. It was looking a bit nervous towards top mid. They were kind of losing control of the round, but they've come out on top.
Yeah, I think that, so I was a little bit worried about the lack of utility. I saw they had 1 smoke and 1 HE, and I'm like, what on earth are you going to do with this? You're pushing long. They throw out the smoke, but it's a high-low swing and an uncharacteristic missed shot from Younger, clearly taking a moment to warm up in this, and unfortunately, you can't really afford to be doing that in an elimination match. As much as it is a best of 3, you can't be that cold. Misses the shot, loses her life for her sins, and at that point, I mean, the way that FlyQuest just overrun the site, they give absolutely no space, no quarter, just rampaging through. I don't want to call it a run and gun, but it was damn near close to that. And MIBR just have no way of getting back in onto the site. And again, because they themselves were also dangerously low on utility. So by that point in the round, and I think that the fact that FlyQuest are able to recover from that is great, but a lot of that was baiting out a lot of early util because MIBR had nothing really to try to retake with.
Yeah, Younger certainly has come into this one a little cold. Missing that sitter. Could have been a very different 5-on-4 at the beginning of this last round, that is. Another ropey buy, but again, you've got that 5-7 and the Kevlar. MIBR showing absolutely no respect, and they will be spotted there, but that's so awkward for the T's to deal with. And now the T's are going to be bunched up in B halls, and again, this is another round which MIBR have made incredibly awkward for the T side. GaBi's on the site with the scout. If they don't have flashes this time, then it could be very curious indeed. She'll eat the first one. And now the CTs are starting to charge in on the other side, but FlyQuest have been doing the DM. They are smashing heads at the moment, but Poppins and Goddess have got something to say about this one. Suddenly, Emmy and Marie are the last 2 standing. Emmy at half health with the AWP. You can see MIBR trying to combine here. Goddess and Poppins trying to fight together. One of the most dangerous elements of MIBR. Any two players working together will find that synergy very quickly indeed. 2 HP, but the right tool for the job. What direction do they look in? There's a number of places to look towards top mid, but it's facing with a grenade in her hand, Emmy. And Younger will collect both. MIBR have been threatening to win one of these rounds. Not long till they do.
Not only does she get both kills with the MP9, but she also gets a free AWP for her troubles. So that's going to help with their long-term economy fantastically. Perhaps a little bit of overconfidence here from the FlyQuest Red squad. You can't underestimate what MIBR are capable of doing. And the fact that even on a pistol round, or maybe not a pistol, but a low buy, they fan out, they take full map control, corral FlyQuest into one particular area. And at that point, I mean, it's sink or swim. And unfortunately, they sank.
Got to charge into the B bomb site here. GaBi is dealing with it. Not well equipped are FlyQuest for this one. Their money has been ruined. 2 AKs in the hands of MIBR now, as they mount a early comeback here on Dust2. The pick of FlyQuest with Nuke to come. You can see Goose is chewing gum. It does help with focus.
Those first 3 deaths felt instantaneous. It was like they just melted right off. The HE, the Molotov, we saw something similar yesterday where like we're thinking, okay, there's a Molotov that's going to come through, it's going to slow things down. And instead the team just rushes straight past it, gets onto site. Okay, this is now what's attempted by FlyQuest and it fails miserably, unfortunately. But that was kind of a throwaway round. You want to get to the next round, you want to get guns back in your hand. There's still a 2-round lead here for FlyQuest, so time to nip it in the bud.
Early take of Long. T-side will often slow down in this scenario. They still have Vanessa trying to keep an eye on things towards top mid, but again, MIBR have been so active. Oh, Younger being teased, trying to deliver a haircut. Very much want to keep an eye on the radar and see what MIBR might be doing, because again, it's very common how these rounds end up from the T perspective. A quiet creep here from FlyQuest, but have a look at how many people are here for MIBR. Mr. Bomb Carrier, Bibian to try and trade the frag there. No trade frag as Nuke will be recording. Bibian swinging onto the site now. There are so many targets. Younger, first one to drop. Goddess gone soon afterwards as it's Bibi, again the woman for her squad. Leaving GaBi in a 1 versus 3. FlyQuest found a way to turn that around despite how many CTs were there. And now GaBi finds herself in the clutch. Not quite finishing off the job on the first attempt. And FlyQuest get back to winning ways.
Looks like this A site might be a little bit of a problem for MIBR. They lose control of it so quickly, and there's near a semblance of a retake. And I think a lot of that problem is that they are trying to stand their ground, and they're often losing those fights. And a part of me is like, just pull back, go for the retake. Don't lose your numbers because you're trying to stem the tide, because as it stands now, they play very passive. They're not taking aggressive long control, and so FlyQuest just get free access on towards the site. And to try and slow things down when you've already given up that much space is incredibly difficult. So you either need to play a more aggressive position down towards long to slow them down, or you need to play retake. So far, hasn't come to fruition. They've had a little bit more success kind of in mid, to be honest. There's been a little bit of success on B, but most of it has been in these fights, these scuffles in the mid area of the map.
Long take is here again. Do the CTs hold their ground here? They might have some counter flashes, but they're kind of in no man's land here as Poppins will get dropped. The numbers are just too great for the T side, surely. But Goddess looks like she still wants to fight. Younger's posted up in that car position. So there was a rifle support setup to be had there. But again, it was very risky and brittle feeling for that CT squad. Younger still committed here. If their molly comes her way, Goddess does have a smoke. But ultimately, Younger needs to start hitting these shots. She does have 7 kills on the board, but she could have 12, honestly. So we've got Marie lurking now, as the rest of her team are more or less on or next to long. Keeping an eye on MIBR. So will it be Younger to fire, and then a big swing from the CTs? They're going to go in dry, but look at the timing. They'll catch one at the very least as the grenades are thrown, but only one. They will not be reaping the rewards of that play, and Younger has to go battle sniper mode. She has to deliver for MIBR now. Nervous pre-fire before anybody shows. Not a good sign for MIBR. Not what we're used to. You have to wonder if it's land jitters for the squad. And again, GaBi has to rotate over, finds herself in the clutch, eats one through the wall, and there's nothing left for her to do.
So I say I want aggressive long control, and I do get it. Unfortunately, felt like they weren't using enough, kind of running out of bullets, like kind of overstaying their welcome, right? You've got one player who swung out quite far, trying to take these fights, and actually gets caught in a reload, and that's when Emmy gets that Krieg kill. And I will say, Brandon and I have a differing opinion when it comes to the Krieg. Big fan, he not so much. So every time the Krieg gets a kill in my head, I'm going to be going, suck it, Brandon. But yes, that's off the back of a player in the middle of a reload, unfortunately. So doesn't really count. What it does do is it gives FlyQuest the space that they need. And huge credit to FlyQuest, because the patience that we're seeing from them really is commendable. Not going overly aggressive unnecessarily. They know that MIBR have a tendency to get impatient. And maybe it's the youth factor. Maybe it's one of those things of like, we got to try and do something here. They hold the line, and as soon as MIBR dry swing out into the open, full advantage taken.
I have to say, FlyQuest are fragging really well on the T side, delivering with all the cannons. I'm a Krieg fan. It isn't as good as it used to be, but I did Cerakote my competition rifle the same as the Krieg Bulldozer, so there we go. Anyway, yeah, that was so awkward for MIBR. Caught between two different decisions, it felt like there. Very difficult indeed. And definitely it feels like FlyQuest smell weakness in that long position. And MIBR, hey, they're trying different approaches. They tried defending from the site. They tried trying to retake long, but all the people with util were on point. It was so awkward because it's like, do you give, if you're playing AWP on long on the CT side, one of the things, let's say mid-round, is that if you have flashes and you've got a player in the pit or somewhere on long, you can flash for them to peek if they're being challenged. But in that scenario, Younger's kind of the point person holding the angles. Her teammates on the corner have the util. Even if they, there isn't really time to go and give the util to Younger, so there's nobody to throw flashes. So the dry peek is, it's just like, it's just rough and difficult and uncomfortable. And it leads to a 2-6 scoreline in favor of FlyQuest. We head towards long once again. The chain flashes will be good. And this time there is an instant abort. They are going to fall back. So if long keeps getting compromised like this, will they start heading towards aggressive plays on short, perhaps?
Might need to be the case, but we can see there's early util from FlyQuest in a lot of these rounds to actually prevent that. So they're really doing a good job of the push and pull that a map like this requires. And it's really impressive how they're stopping a lot of MIBR's pacing.
Yeah, early on it looked like MIBR were trying to take these rounds away, but Marie's doing a good job of just keeping an eye on what MIBR may or may not be trying to do, whether they're doing it or not. There's a good understanding as to the climate on the map for FlyQuest. 4 and 4 slowly making their way towards the site. Really looking for a late surprise. They want to give MIBR minimal time to respond. Up shot onto Marie on the corner. She's got a second player to swing with eventually, but Vanessa just creeping in the meantime. Emerging onto the site like a demon. Younger's starting to get fragging though. That leaves Emmy in the clutch. Younger delivers another one to finish off the job there. Able to hold short with that AWP, and that's a bit of confidence back for the MIBR squad.
It's actually outrageous how one player on short gets 3 MIBR players to turn their backs on long and allow that sneak to come through. Well done to MIBR for maintaining composure in that moment, because as soon as they realized that there's another player there, in fact, I think it was kind of simultaneously, one of the MIBR ladies was like, hang on a second, none of us are watching long, turns around at just the right time. And a surprisingly uncoordinated round from FlyQuest in that one. I think maybe they were going for a bit more of a contacty approach because they've had a lot of the util heavy approaches, so try to go for something different. But for MIBR, they took full advantage of that. Backs were turned at just the right times, turned back around, and they finally start winning out their gun battles, which has really been a big factor. I think you've got someone like Bibi who's absolutely on fire in the moment. We saw in the first few seconds of that round that crazy swing towards long, and she's instantly able to get the opening pick. So when you've got your players firing on all cylinders like that, it becomes difficult. So at least now MIBR seem to be kind of finding their groove a little bit more in terms of taking those ones.
The way they're creeping behind smokes on long kind of forces MIBR to look for that info, but if they look for it, they get punished. So it's really difficult for MIBR to find a comfortable option as far as long is concerned, but on this occasion, they won't be challenged, and there's much more presence from FlyQuest elsewhere on the map. And again, if we remember how active, hyperactive even, MIBR were, breaching traditional T areas, if you will. Oh, hold on. Oh, Gooseberry gives one up for free, and Bibian's got to try and chase through the smoke. Maybe too confident with the smoke creeps around the A bomb site. Thought they could get that one for free, and that's going to make this a lot harder now for FlyQuest. A late resurgence in the first half for MIBR, perhaps. Especially with the lack of cash we have on FlyQuest. Tough round to go for a risky play. Marie and Vanessa trying to do what they can. Still in control of the bomb. Marie is behind enemy lines, but doesn't finish off the job there. Vanessa dodges the flash, but she's got way too much work to do.
All things considered, Vanessa's actually having a really good game, sitting at 13-6 at the moment. The only player doing better than her is Younger, who's chilling on 14-6. Just two players that have really gone to bat for their team so far. And I think that was another round where I'm, harking back to Nuke's stats. And sure, the smoke plays a part in why that trade can't come through, but GaBi being able to get 2 there is a little bit egregious. And it leaves FlyQuest floundering in that round. And now they flounder in this because it is just another eco.
It's crazy how quickly Younger caught up.
Yeah.
After some sitters missed at the beginning, and suddenly she is red hot. Not a good sign if you are FlyQuest. Shooting gallery for MIBR in round 11, which is done very quickly indeed. Well then, looks like we're going to be very close one way or another once we reach half-time, which raises questions for the second half. MIBR may be slow starters at the beginning of this one, but is the worst over for them once this half is concluded? FlyQuest have been so good with the T-side weapons. Orb's been firing off as well. Unchallenged on long once again. You can see the double mollies on the radar. You've got to put one behind the big box as well, so the T's can't swing and hide in the corner. Hello, very nice combo indeed. Gooseberry gets smoked, one more HE, and it's Danny's turn to cripple what remains of FlyQuest. The 3 versus 5 is very dire.
It's a good change from MIBR as well, going from the proactive to the more stable and waiting game. And now they're making FlyQuest get a little bit antsy because they know FlyQuest have to attack. That's how this works.
They've got to get, they're just going to send it. The urgency is high, not waiting for the smoke. 2 CTs on the site then. And then there's one more. Is there a bomb plant in there for them? Marie's going to be in the clutch now. Let's see what she can do. 1 versus 3 after popping GaBi. Playing off the pillar. 22 bullets in the magazine, that is plenty. Dodges the first flash. Got to be careful with the shoulder. They start to stream in. That's exactly how you do it. First person goes wide, drag the crosshair away from the trade fragger, and the rest is a formality. It will be tied up at half-time then. MIBR make their way back, but who will take the first map of the series?
Drop through the night, cruising on the way to paradise.
What was looking like a fairly dominant start to the half after one low-buy eco round of sorts, MIBR very quickly turned the tide on their heads. That round 5 may have crippled FlyQuest in the first half, but can they bring it back now in the second, or will MIBR convert that momentum into a 1-0 scoreline?
Bibian, lower tunnel. FlyQuest's turn to be aggressive on that CT side. Oh, MIBR looking so lost with these flashes, but somehow most of them are still standing. Nice pop from Danny. 4 on 3 for MIBR. Can all change in a pistol round though. Goose Breeder doing the most, dropping the bomb carrier, leaving GaBi alone. That is Danny on the camera, we'll get that fixed, but GaBi will be in a 1 versus 3. Always finding herself in difficult clutches in this game so far. But that is 2 for 2 with pistol runs for FlyQuest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And bomb plant denied as well. Always a good little feather in the cap for your CT side. And again, those scuffles in mid, very difficult to find good traction on. I think Goose getting that 3K, obviously, as fun and as impressive as it always is to watch, it obviously gives them a massive advantage, brings their numbers very much into a, well, damn near unlosable situation. And that'll give them back the lead here. See if they can hold on.
Do like to see some scout action. Oh dear. Nope, nope, nope. Get out of there. This is a scenario where you don't want to be on the bomb site with all these people coming your way. You want to keep the guns out of their hands should they find a frag. Goose and Marie both low now. Emmy even lower, down to 0. Bomb plant secured. Is there any more damage in there for Goddess? Not on this occasion, but that's a pretty successful eco round.
1 kill, bomb plant. Yeah, a little bit of extra cash for them. That's at least something to help bolster them into this next round. They'll have a bye, and they'll be able to fight back. And, well, interestingly enough, it wasn't a full bye round where they turned the tides in the first half. As I mentioned before, it was one of those half buys. But now with actual weaponry available to them, I mean, one of the big things that we always talk about with the South American region is that aggression, the really fast plays when they hit a site and make it very difficult to fight back. But we saw that their proactivity on the CT side didn't really garner them the space that they'd wanted. So do they continue with their usual speedy trajectory? Already a lot of utility laying down to slow them out.
Emmy's been good with the orb so far. Lovely stuff. Textbook. Forced them out into the open, into the light. Then hit them with the arrows. Good game so far from FlyQuest. And there's Younger delivering when she needs to. Holding the angles as the T's try to creep up. And maybe they'll be doing similar to what we saw from FlyQuest, just closing in on that site from behind the smokes where the CTs can't really get information. You can see them using the HE to try and spot these Ts. And here comes the burst then. Oh, just creeping around the corner. Goose, you can see her trying to get that continuation spray and collect another one. Younger still in the back, dropping people. Marie and Vanessa left. And Vanessa's out of position, and she's got a relatively short-range weapon to try and finish these players off. But look at the health on Goddess and Poppins. It is doable. She's also got util if she makes it far enough to face Vanessa. This is very awkward indeed. There's the smoke grenades. She just has all the tools in the kit, but the Younger rather has a very sharp headshot indeed. Nice. I already want to see how far that could go, but Younger's just like, this story ends here. Tore out the rest of the pages.
Yeah, I think the AWP was the if she doesn't have an AWP, I'm like, I wonder how this goes. But Younger in that round in particular certainly had been on a bit of a hot streak. And a player that I do want to just mention, obviously Poppins has had a bit of a slow start to the map so far, but we saw this yesterday. And then in the second half, she just kind of ran away with it. So now on the T side, hopefully we'll see her kind of pick up some of that momentum again, because that was a control, managed to avoid a lot of the utility that was intended to slow them down. Then they take a lot of space. There was a really terrible, like a horrific one-way that almost completely ended their run as they'd kind of crept their way up long and the legs were sticking out, and it was a perfect opportunity to try and get a couple of kills there. But only one came through, and I think that's really what made it a more winnable position for MIBR. The fact that they managed to only lose one there and restabilize quite quickly.
Very dry round for MIBR then. Special appearance from a Desert Eagle. Saw plenty of those from Empathy on eco rounds. And one for Bibiana as well. Maybe it's an NA thing. Vanessa with 15 frags for the FlyQuest squad. I think MIBR are quite comfortable in scenarios like this. They're normally the ones causing the problem. If it's like a half buy, as we mentioned earlier, bit of Kevlar, a few 5.7s and so on, a lot harder to achieve something in a round such as this. Though we did see some pain in the first half. And they are heading towards that stack. Oh, flashbang's looking awkward. That Deagle's doing big damage. However, all the frags go the way of MIBR. Just about. Danny standing with 2 HP, but that will be enough. And Goose is left to pick up the pieces. A tied score once again then.
That was the big stressor coming into the third round of this half, knowing that they finally had some weapons available to them. I always talk about the round 5 swing round, but it can happen on round 3 depending on how well you've managed your economy. And of course, that's precisely what MIBR managed to do, particularly because in that second round, they did actually manage to get that bomb plant at last. They missed out in the first round, but they didn't really spend in the second, so they could get the bomb plant, and that allowed them to come through in round 3 with guns. So 2 rounds back-to-back bring us back onto an even kilter. I am glad that this is a very close affair, but it does leave a lot of question marks. You know, FlyQuest had so much momentum early on in the map, and that's really started to slow down. I was lauding Vanessa back in the first half. She's only managed to pick up like 2 kills since then. So a lot of slowing down on that trajectory.
Very clean from Emmy. She has got her team a few 5-on-4s with that AWP, and those will be very important as well. That is the start you want. Marie had $1,500 in that last round, so she will be whipping out the French gun, the new and improved French gun. Rifle support for Emmy now as she holds the alternative angle in mid. Pop-ins with the AWP. Looking to establish control of that short position then. Oh! Good movement from GaBi, keeps her alive, but the CTs keep on winning. Dust2 starting to look stronger for FlyQuest. I think Hanka was confident of a FlyQuest W here on Dust2. And that is a confident win around the A bomb site and just around from start to finish. They look very comfortable right now.
And conversely, MIBR are looking a little bit uncomfortable in terms of the slower plays. And I get you're trying to diversify, you don't want to become telegraphed, and that's important. It's a really important thing to be doing. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out for them. Perhaps it was a lack of util usage there. Felt like they gave over a lot of opportunities that they didn't really need to. So they lose a few bodies very early on in the round. And well, just like that, the potential for taking the lead is stolen away. FlyQuest keep themselves in the driving seat. And that's been actually I think the really impressive part is that all throughout this map, FlyQuest have not conceded the lead. We'll get to like an even score line, and then they'll pull ahead. And then it'll even out, and then they'll pull ahead. They're not allowing MIBR to take full control of the pacing. And that's what PP was talking about in her interview. Play your own game. Keep that control. Make sure that they're not getting the space that they want.
I wonder if MIBR are giving FlyQuest the space to make a mistake in some of these slower rounds. If so, they're not always getting what they want. Oof. Well, I think that was maybe an example of what they were looking for. It's a very chunky grenade onto Goddess and Danny. Now, Vanessa's going to be on an island on that B bomb site if they send it through. Danny's going to get dropped though. This might stunt the growth of MIBR's push towards B. That is very strong for them. Goose being boosted, a classic boost here on Dust2. It can be absolutely devastating. This is forcing MIBR to reposition. Vanessa is almost begging for mercy, stuck in this corner. Got to keep moving in CS2. Cannot stay static. Now, whose favor does this go in? GaBi, point woman. Oh, the rifle's been spotted. Vanessa, she might even catch 3! Takes all of them down. Absolutely brutal. Saw the barrel of the gun, and that's all she needed. All the info she needed. Now Goddess trying to race to that B bomb site. She'll spot the grenade. She knows where this CT is. Brutal to try and collect the bomb. What an overperformance from Vanessa.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, we saw some great synergy, I suppose, allowing, creating sightlines for Emmy so that she could get that, initial kill that brought the numbers back to an even advantage. Great utilization there. Now, that did leave a bit of space for them to work with, but the fact that Vanessa is able to get that much done off the back of just seeing the barrel of a gun definitely feels like a bit of a misplay from MIBR. First of all, allowing yourself to be seen. It is tricky, obviously, but then not being ready for a potential trade certainly left them high and dry, and of course the AWP shot missing, so that gives that third away.
Yeah, I think holding down 2 jobs there is the problem. Looking for the right and the left. There were 3 of them, so the left, the right side from the T perspective can be covered, where you focus on the left. You're not swinging your rifle and not conceding your position, or at least you're less likely to. That was like a star imploding on the B bomb site. So it will be a push towards B once again, but far more ill-equipped on this occasion. Will the bomb plant be denied, though? Not on this occasion, it seems. That bonus money will be very important indeed. Can they do more? GaBi is alone. They're lining up for her, though, and things were starting to get a little scary. It did cost them, but it is FlyQuest moving to 11 rounds. Very happy with the proceedings they will be.
Yeah, the HE kill, bringing it to a 3v1 as opposed to a 3v2, obviously. Huge impact in that one. Would have liked to have seen Daddy be able to get the most ridiculous spray imaginable, but this time around, not going to be the case. And FlyQuest looking very good. I think we had a lot of questions yesterday about, well, was that a FlyQuest overperformance, or was that an Imperial underperformance? Like, what was happening there? And I think looking at how they're performing right now, to say fully that it was all on Imperial wouldn't do them justice. FlyQuest are looking great this season.
Marie still standing. That HE's going to do all kinds of damage, although Poppins will be the solo recipient. And long will be secured by the CTs. Now, do the Ts head towards short? Well, that's a big frag from Goddess. Vanessa is here to clean up, though. Again, another multi-frag from Vanessa. She was already the biggest fragger on the first half of the squad. Now she's on 22 with some really big impact frags. Goose finding one through the smoke. The dream is collapsing on Dust2 for MIBR. GaBi and Younger remain. Bomb getting planted, though. There's a lot of util for the CTs on this retake. GaBi trying to buy time for the team. They need to hope no one's coming from the tunnel while they focus on the door and the window. Here comes the flash then. Will Younger swing with it? No. Just buying a bit more time. Great transfer from Younger, leaving Emmy in a 1 versus 2. Oh, this is ropey. Does she go for this? She'll lose the AWP. Oh, I think they could have done with saving that gun there. The time was really running low as well, and their money's a bit busted. I think even if they had to eco a hero AWP, I mean, she's right next to the doors. She's not guaranteed to get away, but I think it is a consideration to try and fall back with that AWP at that point.
It's good to see that their trades are coming through, at least on the CT side. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, Bibi, it looked like her eyes were kind of darting between minimap and crosshair. And I think she got caught kind of in the transition. But the fact that Vanessa is able to follow it up so beautifully, not only to trade her, but to get a second kill as well, opens up so much potential in that round. Now, the problem with FlyQuest having lost that round is obviously, look at their money. They're going to now capitulate this round, of course, and that puts MIBR at only a 1-round deficit, and it feels like overtime could actually be on the cards.
Just noticed South American megastar Poppins is 3 for 14 in this game.
she's having a rough day.
Yeah. That is a nightmare of a first map. So yeah, I think it was... I would have liked to have seen an attempt to save the AWP for this round. You can always win a round of an AWP, but it's in the past now. And they'll be coming back for the buy. Oh, looking a bit dire for Vanessa though. We'll see what she pulls out with 3,700.
So interesting to note, Poppins is currently 1 for 6 in openings. She's very often a entry-er that can, but today it happens, right? And I'm sure we could, get some insight on that from Hanya a bit later, from Hanka. But there are days when you're cold, when you're just not performing the way that you want to be. And today definitely feels like one of those days for Poppins, or at the very least this first map. And for her to be consistently trying to be an opener and losing them, I think is putting them in a lot of unrecoverable situations. So that's definitely something that needs to be looked into, like have her play a little bit further back, maybe not be that opener. Whereas Younger, sitting on 4 and 2 at the moment, she's far more consistently getting opening frags and creating opportunities for them.
Ooh. I was interested to see what Vanessa's buy would look like. She bought an M4 at the beginning and then realized, oh God, I've got no grenades. So she's had to go down to the fan mask. But she's been so important with that M4. Well, we'll talk about it later because there's a big charge into the long position. There are flashes. Danny will deliver despite everybody going white. She'll be traded eventually, but long has been taken. That 4-on-4 is fine for the T side. MIBR trying to keep FlyQuest broke. Nobody on the B bomb site at present. High urgency here towards the A bomb site. Vivian looking up top, still delivering though. They didn't show all their cards either. Vanessa was still behind the door. Doesn't matter too much because MIBR are pretty much committed to the A bomb site now. This will be very, very telegraphed indeed. And as they approach slowly, the CTs will be rotating over. War of attrition. There are multiple mollies here for MIBR, however. So they can isolate these fights as they look to get a bomb plant. Out comes Emmy, dropping Goddess. Younger and Poppins remain. Surely there are too many CTs around this site. Struggling to find any of them. Vivian on the site. Oh, target selection there. Went from one to the other. Now Younger's in the clutch. 1-on-3. Shotgun mode maybe with Vanessa. She spotted the elbow, scoped in, and misses the swing. FlyQuest with another round win. Very close to closing this one.
This looks so uncomfortable for MIBR. It really does feel like they're not being allowed to play their game, insert buzzword. We're used to them dictating a lot of the pacing on these in these games, and particularly on that T side. And it feels like you were talking a little bit earlier about how MIBR, they're like an anti-strat team. It's one of the things that they're really good at, and it feels like FlyQuest have come prepared. It feels like every time MIBR do something that we are familiar with, FlyQuest have an answer for it. And the mid-rounding from MIBR just hasn't been where it needs to be. The recovery hasn't been there. They, once that initial plan goes awry, they're struggling to figure out, okay, well, what on earth do we do from here? FlyQuest, on the other hand, it feels like they have the answers. Goose back in the driving seat again. They obviously experimented a little bit with Goose not being the IGL, but the knowledge and the experience that she brings to a roster like this can't be denied.
This is the FlyQuest we've wanted to see at this stage of the tournament. Showing plenty of promise. Chance 1 of 2 to close out the first map. This will certainly be the better of them, looking at their money. MIBR can no longer afford mistakes. This would be a great time for Poppins to come alive. Even with few frags, if you can find the impact at the right time, it can make all the difference. Younger on 25, Vanessa with 23. MVP defending bomb sites today. Look at that resurgence there. Wonderful work from FlyQuest. Here comes the push onto the B bomb site though, and Vanessa will be playing retake, staying alive with her teammates. Very good response. 5 on 2. Barely any health. Vanessa will be dropped, punished for her sins. Danny and Younger remain. And now it's just Younger, but there are too many FlyQuest players. A very good victory for FlyQuest on their pick of Dust2 to take the first map of the series.
That's fantastic to bring them up to a 1-0. Very, very impressive resurgence from them. I think it's important to remember that obviously MIBR, a fairly new project. It's the Fluxo core, but with 2 new players, so perhaps still finding their feet a little bit. But for FlyQuest, this is the project that they've been working on. They've been toying and toiling and trying to...
Like, that was as tough a challenge as it could have been for them. And I want to see what they're like at the limit. Again, they've clearly been putting in work. They've clearly been preparing harder. And I want to see what, when everything's on the line, what FlyQuest will look like. And maybe that is what we see on Nuke. It is a map that they play, but of course, I think MIBR, when MIBR are playing as they should, when they're comfortable, when they're not in their own heads, they're quite a fun team to watch on Nuke. But I do have concerns in the MIBR camp now. Oh, that P250 for that extra length. I love a P250 in a pistol round. For the uninitiated, the Glocks have got terrible one-shot range, but the P250 makes it kind of even versus these USPs. And they will close the distance now. 4 on 3 for MIBR. But again, a pistol can always change. FlyQuest starting on that CT side. Vanessa, who had a hell of a lot of frags. She was such an important player for the team. And that last map, showing how good she is. You can see why she's on the squad. Very confident fragger is Vanessa. 3 on 3 now as Danny comes in from the top with help. The bomb needs to be rescued though. And that might be GaBi's job. My favorite South American player. Very good on the CT side as well. Marie zoned in on that bomb plant, and now Bibian's in the clutch. Needs to try and isolate the fight if she can. Down to 1 more. Oh, she's got so many bullets, but she's running out both guns. That's going to be the longest read of her life. Able to switch to a Glock. But can she find this final frag? 69 HP for GaBi versus 18 of Bibi. She sees the shoulder and finally gets there. That was so awkward, but she kept her mettle and came out on top.
Listen, when she ran out of bullets, I thought that was it. That was like the end of the discussion. She like turns around to swap out, and GaBi, I suppose it's nerves. It's, you know, unsure of what the next step needs to be. Doesn't swing out, doesn't take advantage. And Bibi, somehow a 1v3 clutch to give them that pistol. Okay, sure, they don't deny the bomb plant, whatever, because that looked like a lost round. So at the end of the day, you're happy. You've managed to do the unthinkable.
That trade frag at the beginning was really important as well. Protect the VIP. Marie took a bullet for the president. Bibian is the president.
True.
So that is 3 pistol rounds that they've taken now. All the pistols in this game so far, and those stats really have a heavy impact on the outcome of games. Goosebreder definitely wants to get that M4 away from these Ts, but it seems they may be able to collect it. However, with Emmy around the corner, if she can pick some good timing, we'll see if greed comes into play. She's announced her presence. Goddess looking for a second one. Oh, Emmy's made some mistakes there, I think. And it seems that FlyQuest are going to get wiped out, most of them anyway. It is down to Vanessa once again in the clutch. 15 HP won't be enough, though. And they will get that hard reset on the CT side.
Really? Sorry, go on.
Traditionally on Nuke, the challenge on the T side is to chip away on that CT economy until you break them. This is arguably better than winning the pistol round.
Yeah.
If they can stop the force buy, then the economy is in the bin, both legs waist high, and that will be a horrible start for FlyQuest.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing, right? Like a really important round for them to win, but also it feels like a bit of a point to prove, like you clutched that last round, you shouldn't have won it, and we're going to take it back into our control here. And as you said, right, the economy on an absolute knife's edge now. Goose played a very cheeky attempt at the start of that round, and she's going to come into this with an M4, and we'll see if that will give them any sort of leeway into this round, because that's where, if something is going to happen, it's got to come from there.
Vanessa might be the most important player on the server as far as FlyQuest are concerned. We'll see how that continues. I wanted to say that MIBR are often, if not always, or almost always, very good at dealing with these situations. Now, what do you do? Honestly, I don't think they need to go... Like, if their best chances to win the round are over, there's a lot that they can save here and just go again with 2 pistoling players in the next round. It doesn't really make sense, I don't think, to try and win this round. You're going to run in there and walk into a crossfire and lose all those weapons. It basically gives you 2 force buys for the price of 1 if they can keep these weapons into the next one.
Yeah. And it looks like that's definitely the thought process here. There's going to be an attempt maybe to get some exits. Marie very close up. Yeah, there you go. Another one in the back pocket. Will they allow her to retreat? But it's, yes, in fact, they've set up a cross here.
Wow.
And they've managed to take out the entirety of MIBR on the way out.
That is huge. That is really, really good. Again, when you're trying to stabilize your economy on the CT side, and the T's come away from rounds like that with lots of people standing, it just gives them another buy in the hole to keep that pressure up. But when they get wiped out like that, GaBi's literally got $0. She's got nothing in her pockets but knives and lint. So this is something that FlyQuest can build on later on if things go in their way, in their favor. We shall see. Let's not forget, they haven't really over-invested. They haven't got too excited with that. They have kept their discipline. And again, it's basically another force buy round for them with the stuff they had from the prior. And that's a very good start with the CZ for Vanessa. If the rest of them can follow up. Marie's got an angle. She's got some help as well. Dancing, she keeps moving. And there are big problems here for MIBR. This is their pick of Nuke. But Younger finds herself in trouble as the force buys continue back and forth. Nothing doing there for MIBR. Great decision-making from FlyQuest. Again, it's not an easy thing to make that call with those 3 players and say, all right, let's fall back, let's keep this. Often you might see a team lose another player, just lose a bit too much. And that's, again, FlyQuest are focused, and we're seeing good things from them right now.
Yeah. Vanessa's been ridiculous with the pistol openers. There's like 3 rounds where she's managed to do that. That round with a CZ as well on top of it. And it creates so much space for them because, yes, she does get traded out, but there's usually someone around to follow up when the aggression actually does come in, when that accelerator hits. And, okay, they chose the correct site to reinforce. It's a good read. And they did it very well also, setting up some really solid crossfires there and whittling away at MIBR. And that's what you were saying. Now into this round, it's Tech9's, and losing this round is going to leave them in a very, very uncomfortable position. Whereas FlyQuest, very back and forth for them. That first round probably should not have gone their way, but they've come back quite handedly.
Importantly, it's Tech9's and Util, which in the right hands means there is a significant plan. Again, this is one of those maps that you can bulldoze with Tech9s, with mollies and flashes. They've got the chain flashes in, and have a look at this. They're all over the bomb site, facing some with grenades, but they're getting the job done. So far, so good. Get that bomb planted urgently. That's been achieved. Those rifles, of course, won't be collected up there. How do they deal with this then, FlyQuest? Still some good util. HE to be deployed. This is a dangerous round for them, though. That clock is ticking. Here comes the flash. And in they go. Need to identify and eliminate quickly. 1-for-1 is not good enough for these CTs. Oh, Poppins, that's the Poppins we need to see with the Tech 9, choosing the awkward angles and delivering the goods.
That's the way to do it. And the important thing with these rounds is also to recognize when you're on a Tech 9 round, there are going to be casualties. You're not coming out of this unscathed, all 5 players left alive. And it's actually really cool how they play off of one another to ensure, like, all right, I'm going to body block so that you can throw the Molotov. And then that gets them the kill up in heaven. And it's similar situations like that where it's like, all right, somebody's got to put themselves in a bit of danger to make sure that those with the util are able to use them to their maximum efficacy. And it's a perfect turnaround again. And this is going to do, I mean, it's going to be pure chaos for FlyQuest's economy now. Both teams have put themselves in very, very difficult scenarios, neither one being able to build up any sort of an economic buffer. And this is phenomenal, I think, in particular for MIBR because they're on that T side. So to keep hamstringing FlyQuest, who are on the CT, to keeping these rounds close and slowly clawing their way into a respectable scoreline, this is exactly what they need to be doing. Ooh, Emmy with an AWP as well. All right. High risk, high reward.
Let's see what she's got. Again, if you can position the AWP to be a nasty surprise, one shot, one kill, it can really cripple a squad. I did got to spot the AWP there. Emmy posting up the same angle once again. There are still flashes for MIBR. But what do they do with this information? There is Emmy puncturing Goddess like a football. Now, they still have some mollies here. They also have position on ramp. So they are able to circumvent the position of that AWP. But they still need to properly secure this bomb site. Still 5 players alive here. Gotta be careful. A re-peek may lead to another frag for Emmy. Oh, Emmy first with the AWP. That's nasty. No trade though. Poppins with 2 once again. GaBi now delivering, and the CTs are getting wiped out very promptly indeed. Poppins with the multi-frag in another round. She was missing in the first map, but she is present and dangerous in the second.
So we got a bit of insight from Poppins during the regular season. A lot of what she listens to is like High School Musical music. And I'm feeling like during the break between maps, she was listening to Bet on It. And for those of you that know High School Musical, you know that song, it's all about the redemption arc and coming back into this stronger and better. And, you know, she's betting on herself and she's had a resurgence. And it's a really, really important one now because she's been a key proponent in what's helped them get so many of these rounds. Currently top fragging for the squad. And FlyQuest will be knocked straight back down onto a USPS round. This is not a good start for them on this map.
Well, it was quite an interesting back and forth that we've had so far, but I think that their back is truly broken for the time being, you know. They were bending, but now they've been broken. Like when Christian Bale's down that hole, you know, in that Batman series. And his back's all busted or whatever by Bane. That's where we are.
Same.
Can they climb out of the hole?
No. I don't know how she gets that.
I was thinking, is she going to survive? But before I could even say the first word, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awkward. Wow. Wow. 2 on 2. They could lose this round. They could lose this. Vanessa can easily land a headshot from that. I say easily. There's a very reasonable chance. And it is that USP that remains. I think at this point it's about collecting a rifle if there is one. But she will not be allowed to keep it, says Danny. That was awkward, but crisis averted. Everything's fine.
That was actually quite funny. Poppins obviously swinging to try and support her teammate and just runs straight into her bullets. That got a little bit stressful, to say the least. Oh,
dear.
No, that was, yeah, painful. But that's okay. They still won the round. They're not feeling the pressure because to have a 3-round lead so far and so close to the half as well, you'll be feeling very comfortable and confident with that one. Now, FlyQuest running out of chances to turn things back around in their favor. They've put everything that they can into this round. A smattering of utility. They have to turn it around now or it's not going to happen.
GaBi positioning to punish. How long do they wait for an opportunity here? No one's positioned to throw flashes over the top. By the time Vanessa throws this, bearing in mind she hasn't pulled a pin yet, is it going to be too late? I think it might be. Oh, hold on a second. That crossfire is very clean indeed. How wrong am I? Bibian coming to save the day and finding a third onto GaBi as well. Bibi has been crazy in this series. Goddess versus 5. Wonderful work from Bibian, and Emmy will get the last one. That's such an encouraging performance. They're working well. The buddy setups, the crossfires, they're trusting each other, they're delivering the goods, standing in the flames for that third one as well. More than she had any right to get on that bomb site.
And the fact that she lives after getting that third kill, standing in the flames, running out, still got 5 HP in a dream, and all 5 players standing at the end of that round is incredible for FlyQuest, more than they could have asked for. And now they've, in turn, broken MIBR's economy, so there's a chance you have another 6-6 half.
Bibi beast, not just a great tour guide. Anti-eco territory. There's a hero rifle here for Danny though, but I don't know how much opportunity she's going to get to use it. FlyQuest looking good, looking good. The score, you can wonder who it favors, being MIBR's pick. What is the goal in terms of CT side rounds for FlyQuest is a question. But in terms of general form, they look ready for the challenge.
Honestly, if I'm FlyQuest, I'm thinking we need to win every single round here on out for this half to have some comfort into the next. We'll see if that does come to fruition. Of course, this should be the equalizer, and with Emmy getting that opener, and obviously with it being an anti-eco, it's highly unlikely, although we've seen stranger things.
Indeed we have. Emmy so good on that AWP. Reliable, dependable. She's doing what she's supposed to. GaBi's inviting CTs for a party downstairs. So hard to even get a bomb plant in a scenario like this. We saw some good things on Dust2, sending it. Different map, different layout, different opportunities. But really hard to get anything done in an arid environment like this.
This is where things start to maybe get a bit stressful for MIBR. I think that they've done enough. So even if they don't get another round, they'll still be feeling comfortable into that second half. Maybe that kind of plays on their mental, as in they're almost kind of resting on their laurels a little bit here. It certainly feels like FlyQuest are getting the read. And that's what we saw on the previous map as well. FlyQuest very good at adapting and reading into what MIBR are serving up.
Oh, close. Bibi catching GaBi again. GaBi's having such trouble dealing with Bibi around that squeaky position, but Danny looking for a second and she finds it, traded by Marie. And Younger will trade straight back, down to a 1v1. Now the question for Younger is, where is Goose? Goose has all the information for now, but of course every second that ticks, that information becomes old. Now, will Goose discover the bomb? Because that is not with Younger. At some point, that bomb will have to be rescued, but she has time to go round the outside and find that kill, should it be required. Does Goose hold her position, or does she keep moving? Fixated on Heaven for now. Little does she know. Younger's coming through. Squeezing the frag. MIBR taking the lead.
Bit of a labored spray there, but ultimately she does get it. It's a great read from Younger, though. Really good rotation from her. Going all the way around ramp room to sneak up basically behind Goosebreeder. And Goosebreeder, fair enough, you know, watching Heaven, thinking there's no way she's going to take such a long route. Can't get that comfortable, unfortunately. And that was a round I feel like FlyQuest couldn't really afford to capitulate. And now into this one, there's still that chance that they lose this as well.
I'm happy with the FlyQuest that we've seen so far in this series. Do they have another round in them? Bibi, aka The Problem, waiting for would-be attackers. And again, she dispatches of GaBi immediately. That's been such a big frag. Now they've got a bait set up, but Vanessa will get caught from the back by Danny. That could be a really impactful frag in what remains of this round. 3 left for the CTs, all position lost on A. Marie showing presence up top, running distraction as best she can. Oh, Emi eats all of that HE. That's 2 of the 3 CTs known then for FlyQuest. For MIBR, sorry, in this post plant. Still 4 players standing for them. Goddess picking those really awkward angles. Marie dispatched of, and the trades will be good for MIBR. 7-5 at halftime. Perhaps a successful enough T-side for them.
Had enough of these bros. Said they wanna play ball, but they always get mad anytime we beat that. They don't tell us so though. They pretend they got gold. We should put them on blast. The man can't stand such an upset. Your windows closing, you notice. You never lose so bad. You should expect it. You know I'm coming up. I'm coming up. Hey, no time to run, no games. Your time's come today. Just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're made for this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over. We're made to win. We're taking over. Woke up this morning feeling like $1,000,000 bucks. Tell me how you feel knowing you get no love. Wait a minute now. All wins, no losses.
solid lead at the half for MIBR on their T side. They are feeling comfy as can be with a 7-5 scoreline. FlyQuest would have wanted to get a little bit more done on their CT half, and now a little bit of a mountain to climb to potentially take us to that 2-0. Otherwise, it's map 3 city.
This is a big pistol round. Let's not forget FlyQuest's success. Bibian sending it downstairs. Plenty of teammates behind her also. Basement party it is. GaBi looking to do something about it. There are so many targets coming her way though. Bomb planted. 5-on-4. Post plant for FlyQuest. I think there is a lurker in Emmy as well. Let's see what part she has to play in this. All on the rampart, these CTs. Window's not broken just yet. FlyQuest waiting for the CTs to make their play as they wait. Emmy gets closer. Things getting more urgent now. Emmy running down towards the ramp. Vanessa needs to stay alive. Needs to get close enough for Emmy, but she will be dealt with. And finally, MIBR win a pistol round.
Yeah, FlyQuest won the last 3, so a really, really important one. Well, it would have been really important for FlyQuest. Unfortunately, losing this one could potentially put them in a little bit of trouble. With the bomb plant, a little bit of cash to play with. But the decision that they make with this buy, I think, will be very telling for what the rest of the half is going to look like. Interestingly, they're going for a very strong util buy. Ooh, okay, they are going with the force here. Part of me was like, maybe you hold on to a bit of cash for that next round, but it is Tech 9s with util and a Galil, so it's certainly doable to turn things on its head.
A execute coming. Up on the roof. Molly on the hut. Chain flashes. They're gonna send it. They're gonna send it. Again, certain maps very amenable to Tech 9 executes. Cameo appearance from a Galil. Let's see how hard they've been working there. Poppins on the edge of the smoke. So far, so good in that respect. And it looks like they were trying to offer them an A and head elsewhere. Either way, they have had limited success as Bibi's on the ramp alone. And the bomb is now surrounded by CTs. This now becomes a question of damage. How many frags can you get? MIBR need not pursue. They have everything they need, including the objective. So limited results then for FlyQuest. That was a big investment, and they do not have much to show for it.
Yeah, not the rush that we were expecting. As you said, a little bit of util over towards A just to try and distract and create a diversion, but MIBR do not fall for it.
Yeah, it was hard to see where like everybody was going. So I don't know if the initial plan was A, we had one go through Squeaky, denied by Poppins, and then we saw some people towards the ramp. So I'm not 100% sure exactly what was going on. But it looks like a typical execute, close the distance, use the Tech 9s. Either way, it was not fruitful for them whatsoever. Oh dear.
Timing.
Hand in hand, they'll be facing the floor. Collected by Goddess. Confidence building round for MIBR, as there's not much for FlyQuest to offer. Marie's in the vent, but without the bomb. But the bomb's not too far away, but despite, okay, I was going to say despite their best efforts, no frag, but Vanessa will get that frag to be traded by Poppins. Bomb plant denied. They will have enough money. I mean, really fancying that Krieg. It is actually, the first bullet accuracy is superior to the AK-47. It's the spray is just a little too slow. It's just a bit off-puttingly, it's just in some weird place, but it does definitely have utility.
Pretty weird to me that she goes for the Krieg quite often, but the AUG is just like non-existent.
Maybe role dependent as well. The AUG can be really good on a B bomb site.
Yeah.
Bibi touching the skybox. Good flash. That's what we want to see. Simple and effective. Emmy on the receiving end of the AWP for once. But some map control has been taken by FlyQuest. And 4v4 will make the CTs stretch a little thinner. But But it seems they're being proactive and moving around. Got to keep moving in CS2. So they've taken lobby, almost a role reversal. I don't think the teaser on the bomb sites just yet, though. Oh, that's very awkward indeed, especially if and when Marie catches that second. That is soul-crushing for MIBR. Yes, they've got a 5-round lead, but that can disappear very quickly. 1 HP for Marie. That may prove to be very important, winning that duel. Now, time is running quite low, and the MIBR still have positions where they can cause problems in this round. So by no means is this over. GaBi had a nightmare on that first half. Oh, Bibi still punishing her. Every duel they have, Bibi seems to be winning it. The nemesis for GaBi on Nuke.
Bomb has been planted.
I was trying to say, like, you know, she's not getting wrecked by Squeaky anymore, but Bibi's finding a way to find her and just continue those duels. Younger has to save that AWP now. But this could be the start of something. There is some money here and there. GaBi will have money to buy. Goddess will have money to buy. So they can spread the wealth if Younger can stay alive here. It should be okay.
Do you want to hear a crazy stat?
Absolutely.
FlyQuest currently have 10 of the opening duels, but only 6 rounds.
Ah.
That's kind of nutty.
Yeah.
Kinda nutty. Shows good ability for MIBR to restabilize, even when they're at a disadvantage, which is an important thing to have for a team. And FlyQuest not able to convert, even when they have those advantages, which is a little bit concerning. But they're slowly starting to close that gap now. And by starting, I mean they have one more round. Hopefully they can turn that into some sort of momentum. Because it's looked a little bit messy, and it feels like there's been a lot of reliance on Bibi and Vanessa to get these crazy frags.
Bibi did her job on Squeaky.
100%.
She did a great job in that first half. I can't believe how many times she came out on top. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
Really a problem causer for the squad. Definitely been a highlight from the beginning for FlyQuest. From the beginning of this event, that is. Anyway.
Both Poppins and Mari have stepped up in the second half, in the second map, which is really good to see.
So MIBR will have a bye for this round, but they are on the precipice of disaster. I feel like if they lose this round, well, it's hard to say with MIBR because they're very capable of winning with 5-7s and Kevlar. But if you're a sports psychologist for FlyQuest, you've got to be going for a 10-10 if you win this round.
Yeah.
You use that momentum. There's been so much presence up there, and when Younger goes to have a look, nothing doing, but she'll still find a way to swipe Goose Breeder, who was not expecting that. And this is where an AWP's so dangerous as well. There are so many corners where you could just reset, post up again, and even if you get chased by 2 players, who knows if a rifle support is around the corner to get that trade frag should it be required, or just a follow-up frag. Time starting to run low now for FlyQuest, who are throwing junk into the A-bomb site once again. Danny trying to hunt down a frag, holding position at the very least. Bibian creeping now, flashbang avoided, but Bibi is delivering time and again. This time it's Goddess to go, but Younger, battle sniper mode. Can't get that second frag. Marie and Vanessa will thin the numbers of these CTs. 30 seconds to get a bomb plant. Danny waiting for the smoke to go, but looks away just as it fades. And of course it's Bibi by Squeaky, causing more problems. Toxic behavior from Bibi on the server. And it's GaBi in a 1 versus 3. Drops Bibi quick. No kit in her hands. Trying to understand where these T's are. Oh, they don't give her half a second. Vanessa is lethal. That is a big round for FlyQuest.
And again, it's so many of those heroic moments. Now, that's not to say that they're not playing the execs well, the post plants well. They are. You can see that communication. It's something you mentioned on the CT side, and we're seeing it on the T side as well, swinging together, making sure to set up those crossfires. It's working out beautifully. But a lot of getting that numbers advantage and allowing themselves the space to set up those post plants has come from Bibian going just absolutely nuclear. Vanessa as well, creating those opportunities.
A fast eco round is a what? It's a good eco round. On to the next one. Very quick. Quick in, quick out. Let's go. Keep it moving. What limitations will we see on the CT buy? The French guns are coming out in order to have utility, but GaBi's still going to be short. Younger will be able to eke out a little more. GaBi's turn to have a rough game then. 5 for 16 is GaBi. Normally quite a demon on the CT side. This would be a great time for her to come alive because they do feel vulnerable. FlyQuest can smell the weakness. Imagine the confidence boost for FlyQuest, the validation for the work they've been doing behind the scenes if they were to somehow find a 2-0 here. Goddess looking for a multi-frag, but Bibi is there to trade. Very important to keep those numbers even, especially when you're on the T side. So much advantage with time. Younger's dropped Bibi and elsewhere. Danny may have some sound cues, some clues about the lobby here as well, which will allow MIBR to expect towards this ramp, but I think GaBi might be alone. She might be alone, but she's got info. 1 frag and spotted 2 on the kill cam, and there's only 2 remaining. That's going to give a few seconds for the CTs to reposition as necessary. Danny's had the slippers out waiting on this B-bomb site. Nice. That leaves Emmy alone now, and she just needs to stay alive. Committing to the bomb plant is Emmy. 2 players to find. She hears them in the vents. She's got all the information. Ooh, not even the gun out, but doesn't get the spray. That was an opportunity missed, a rare one for Emmy. She's been so good with the AWP, but with the rifle, couldn't quite get it done. And that is a very important retake for MIBR, who moved to 11.
Oh, that's heartbreaking, man. Very labored on that spray. Maybe the nerves getting to her there, feeling like she's got to pull the trigger, waiting for that second player to push through as well. She knows that if both players are there staring at her, her chances of winning out that are very, very slim. So she's got to get that first player. She's got to give herself a moment to prepare for that second 1v1. And the shots do not land. A valiant attempt, nonetheless. But unfortunately, that will be MIBR reclaiming the control here. And that's terrifying because that's going to bring them up to 11. One more round puts them on map point, and then we're on the precipice of map 3. So for FlyQuest here, it's really going to come down to what is their economy going to look like. They've had a few rounds that they've managed to pick up, but I think a lot of them have been pretty close affairs. So losing this one now, very little cash that they'll bring forward from that round. Okay, bomb plant, it helps, but how good is this buy going to be? Are they going to be able to turn things back around in their favor? It needs to happen now.
FlyQuest have to feel like they're capable of closing it in 2. They must feel that, because it feels that way from watching. But opportunities are slipping away from them now, as MIBR try to stabilize and find their true identity. It's like a Power Rangers movie, you know, it's like they've lost all their powers until the last possible moment. Then all the Zords come in and just wreck everyone. That's like where MIBR are right now. They're just trying to find their full power. You know, they've got to go on that journey, stand under the waterfall, etc. Then just come in like, blow!
I love that you go with Power Rangers. I feel like most people these days would go with anime. You know?
Hell no, I love Power. My Steam profile is the Green Ranger.
Yeah. But, you know, anime is very much like, you know, you give a speech about friendship, and then that allows you to level up and you come back with powers that no one ever knew existed.
Ah, yeah. It's the classic superhero movie.
Yeah, Power of Nakama, for those that watch anime. Exposing myself on stream here. Yeah, Naori Mizuki is exposing herself.
Yeah, I think they could tell. There were clues.
There will be signs.
Quick tech pause. Again, chewing gum is really good for focus. I have heard many moons ago. Just to stay locked in.
Oh, the timing of a pause like this is so rough, though.
I think it can I think it depends on the scenario. Like if you're struggling and things aren't working out for you, then it can be rough. But if you're focused and it's like a good close fight and so on, then it depends on how long it is.
That's definitely a carousel.
Poppins is amazing. She's just content machine.
Truly. Oh, I love the mouse pad.
Lovely. I wanted to go on a carousel and just like, because you know I'm like, if you haven't met me in person, you won't know that I'm 6'4". I wanted to sit on a carousel and just like aggressively stare at people, just to make them uncomfortable. You know, that's the kind of person I am. I'm just always trolling, 24/7.
It suddenly dawned on me. I think that Funko Pop is Mary Poppins.
You said it was a carousel thing, or is it Mary Poppins on a carousel?
It could be Mary Poppins on a carousel.
It could be, yeah.
But I'm convinced it's Mary Poppins, and I'm ashamed that it took me that long.
It's
to
not
figure
Janet
out.
Jackson, I can tell you that.
Is it not really? What gave it away? It's the hat that's making me think Mary Poppins. You know, the side saddle.
I don't know.
and
I don't know what the hat looks like. I don't watch anime, so. What?
Okay, for those of you that can't see, I'm giving James the filthiest look ever. Mary Poppins is not an anime. Mary Poppins is
Isn't it?
Julie Andrews.
It's an anime, isn't it?
No, it's a live action. It's Julie Andrews singing. Oh.
I'm just griefing.
Oh, painful. You do give me grief. You do.
Thank you very much. Those tops look quite comfortable.
Are those like hoodies? Oh, they're so...
But I have to say, Bibi's such a goat. When I went to Australia, she gave me loads of recommendations for coffee shops and bakeries, and I toured the city via visiting different coffee shops. It was awesome.
That sounds amazing,
It's
actually.
impossible to get a bad coffee in Australia. I think you'd go to jail if you were a bad barista.
Much like Ireland, I think that if you were to do something like that in South Africa, it would be pubs. It would not be coffee shops. Or high school rugby games. That is also a possibility.
We're back.
We are back!
All right, then. 3 rounds behind are FlyQuest, looking to topple MIBR on their pick of Nuke. Both teams with a bye. GaBi down to the MP9, which is rough. You know, she's been having a tough time fighting Bibian in the first half. Bibian seems to be looking for her in the second as well. So to be ill-equipped and being on the receiving end of things perhaps does not bode well. It's been a stressful game for GaBi. But Poppins is on the server. She was a bit missing in that first game, but she is alive now. The round's not live, though.
No.
Maybe it will be restored quickly.
I want a FlyQuest hoodie. It's pink, it's floofy, it's pretty. I need one.
It does look comfy.
Oh, so comfy. I have a hoodie problem. Actually, I have a few. I have a Funko Pop problem, I have a manga problem, and I have a hoodie problem. I have a lot of problems.
I can't help you with any of those. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say.
But we all have our vices. I just happen to have a few of them.
We'll be live shortly. I've been promised. Guaranteed. 100%. Well, who do you reckon is coming out on top here? I mean, obviously MIBR are closer to that, but who do you feel like there is a pull towards one team more than the other?
I think that just by virtue of the fact that we're on the CT side, I favor MIBR. But I've always had a lot of love for FlyQuest, and I feel like it would be so great to see them in a playoff again. So it's heart versus mind here.
Yeah, it would be, I mean, in this fashion, it would be utterly brutal for MIBR to really not have a showing of themselves in this competition live. That would be painful for them. But hey, they're 2 rounds away from a third map. Plenty of util for FlyQuest. Looks like they're going to be dumping on the A-bomb site once again. No one headed down towards B with those smokes. So perhaps there'll be enough people here to defend. Okay, so GaBi's picked up the AK. She's been given the AK for her role. And Poppins has taken the MP9 and she's been dropped immediately. Oh, Danny just can't catch up with the crosshair. And it's down to Goddess and GaBi now trying to keep things alive. Down to a 2-on-2, and here's GaBi with that AK. And maybe that weapon switch will matter. Vanessa finds herself in a 1v1. Goddess with a grenade in her hand. Oh, she's got a clue there. She heard her. The bomb in their control. 30 seconds left. And 9 HP. Is there time for this? If she finds 2 frags, that would be completely insane. I don't think she's got time to plant the bomb here, but she might get a free one on the hut. And then surely the other one's got to run away. Yeah, you've got to run, you've got to run. Run for the hills. Now, I don't know if there is a world where she looks for that second player before getting that frag. But hey, that's a high-pressure situation. MIBR find themselves at game point, most importantly.
Do you know what the devastating thing is? If she had done what Goddess had done a few rounds back, if she had gone all the way around instead of going up into heaven, there's a world in which she spots both players.
Oh, she didn't have time. She didn't have time. There were 30 seconds before when she was on ramp, so...
I mean, it'd be close, but either way, it's a loss, so... I don't know.
FlyQuest with a big W, one heading downstairs, lining up at the ramp and dropping GaBi once again. Younger thinning the numbers out though. Not enough, you might say. Through no fault of her own, it's a 3-on-4. Someone's got to get the multi-frag. GaBi, Poppins, Goddess together have $0 in the bank. This is where things get really interesting. They've got to hold on to these weapons. I don't think they can even... They're going to have money to drop in the next round. And I didn't really get a chance to say again, GaBi and Poppins switching weapons was so important in that last round for GaBi to come up the ladder and get that frag with the AK rather than having the MP9. Poppins able to save the AK on this occasion, it seems. And this is what I was talking about in terms of FlyQuest being pushed to the limit. They are being pushed to the limit now on Nuke, on a map where surely they feel like they can win this. And they're having to fight against game point. So far, so good. But the margin for error is very small indeed.
I think the stress... Maybe it's just me that's feeling stressed, but given how close it is right now, certainly it's not an impossibility that stress, that realization of how close you are. Not just a case of like, oh, it's slipping away, because they know they still have a third map, but knowing that you're so close to closing it out. 2-0, confirm that playoff spot, and just be allowed to breathe, not have to play through another best of 3 later today. Like that, the potential for that is so strong, and I think that there's a, maybe not a pressure, but certainly that kind of lingers in the back of the mind here for FlyQuest.
I think if you are capable of winning your opponent's pick, then you're not looking at that third map or anything beyond it. You can't look beyond the goal that is immediate right now. This is a really rough buy for MIBR. So you've got the Abacus out and calculator together. They buy at 9-12, they buy at 11-12 as well. GaBi needs help on the ramp. Like, she's getting picked off alone, and sometimes Younger will get that frag while they're rotating, but they need to, like, FlyQuest are identifying weaknesses and they are just bullying them in these positions. You can see the save is happening already. No need to throw good money after bad. But the thing is, if you're at MIBR and you think, all right, they keep running towards ramp, putting 3-4 people there, targeting GaBi, trading at worst case, and then bombing it in towards B. If we put more people over there, then they might expect us to do that and head elsewhere. So, you know, do you change that configuration, or do you read that your opponent expects you to do that so you don't. But then they keep doing the same thing. It's so annoying if you're MIBR.
Yeah. It's that adaptation thing that we always talk about, like how are you changing to deal with what's being thrown at you? I do like that they're hunting this. It's definitely the right call to make.
Beautiful.
Nice. Take that AWP out of their hands. And they cannot possibly buy another one, yeah. FlyQuest, they've done some really good work.
If MIBR kept 3 rifles, maybe they spend more around them, but that threshold of 3 standing to 2 standing is huge. But that buy last run was designed, worst case, to buy at 12-11 anyway. So they've got some bonus weapons for this one. But it is getting increasingly difficult for this CT side. Do FlyQuest have it in them? This is the question I wanted to ask them. Can they dig deep and take this to an overtime? Momentum firmly in their favor. They do not look afraid to win, which can often lead to loss, especially when you're finding a new peak. Playing the slow game, allowing the CTs to make their funky plays. This will be a dangerous round until numbers are thinned. But we've got to keep eyes on the clock as well. Taking too long can also lead to issues. No one to trade that frag. That's another rifle to be collected, and you have to ask now, what do FlyQuest have to show in this round in terms of map control? They've lost Goose, lurking on an anti-eco. Oh dear. And you start to wonder if they're able to hold on to a round that they should win. 35 seconds left, and now things get desperate. Now FlyQuest are the ones who have to take the risks and run without knowing what they're running into. And hey, they're running into an AK. They're lining up as well! Bibian making her way into B. This is such nervous territory for them. The CTs have nothing to lose in this round. They can swing whenever they want to. 15 seconds for that bomb to get planted. If that bomb planter is lost, then that's a wrap. Very good focus from FlyQuest. Oh, there's a sigh of relief there from Bibian. They knew they were in trouble, but they held it together. That is the important thing. They held it together. When their backs are to the wall, what are they going to do? They're going to secure the round is exactly what they're going to do.
That was a very scary round. To lose that first player so early on and then to have to scramble to maintain some semblance of control, knowing that you've given over a rifle, not really knowing that there's another rifle somewhere, but in the back of your head, you're like, we can't take any risks here. And it gets very scary. I think that the decision to pivot away and to head down towards the lower site was the right call to make, particularly because it forces your CTs to have to rotate as well. Obviously, with a lower buy, they're not going to be spreading out as thin. They want to be able to play off of each other a lot more. So knowing that you've drawn a lot of their attention up above, you move down towards the lower site, and that gives you a lot of space to work with and puts you in a stronger position to shut them out. One round separates FlyQuest from overtime. The first overtime of Season 7 Finals. Can they do it?
Good start for Younger. Here's Poppins as well. Suddenly a 3-on-5. Marie can't do it, and it looks like they're going to get shut down lightning fast. Or are they? Goose and Emmy still in this one, finding some kills. Emmy trying to isolate these fights. Goose unable to help. Emmy in the clutch now. And just like that, all the way to open the door and then kicked out the window. That will be a devastating final round as far as FlyQuest are concerned. A nervous game for MIBR. Doesn't feel like we're seeing maximum MIBR just yet, as you can see from the body language of Poppins. But hey, they've given themselves the space for them, for their psyche going forward to take a scalp like MIBR. That would be huge. Well, you chose, I don't know. There's no time to pick because we're into the game now, sorry.
I hate you.
MIBR will start on the CT side of this third and final map of this series. A pop flash towards second mid, but maybe not the result they were looking for. Eventually, they will take care of Vanessa and see no more in that second mid position. But will they be able to rotate in time? Because it seems increasingly likely that B is the destination. Perhaps the utility will be enough. GaBi ever defending the B bomb sites, falling back now. They expected Younger, though. They'll deal with her, and GaBi. A promising start again for FlyQuest. 3 of the 4 pistol rounds so far.
Bomb has been planted.
Will this be one more for them? Goddess is hanging on with 3 HP at present. Moving through now, there's no util for these players. Just headshots as they close the distance. Oof. So many awkward angles on these maps. That molly doesn't go where it was planned to. That clock is ticking. Who goes in first, though? FlyQuest being really good with their positions. But look at these frags coming through. Danny finds 2. But surely there's no time for her to find not 1 but 2 frags and defuse the bomb. Marie will come and end it early. And FlyQuest win their 4th pistol round in this series.
All right, a lot of time to set up for that retake to come through. And again, just beautiful fundamentals from FlyQuest. It is a pistol round, so you don't generally want to read too much into it. But given what we've seen over the course of the last 2 maps, I'm confident in saying that this is a very, very leveled up FlyQuest to what we've seen in the past. So that'll kick them off quite nicely here on our 3rd map. See how much more they can get done with this. A barrage of Mac 10s, which I think can be terrifying. And they've dodged a lot of the early banana util as well, so they've got options now.
MIBR are dangerous in these rounds. I've said it time and again. Kevlar and 5-7s spells danger for the other side. A little utility as well. Squeezing every second they can from that. Very patient indeed. We head to the minute mark. 3 of the 5 players for FlyQuest holding position on B. On banana, rather. Again, good timing from MIBR. Now, are they funneling FlyQuest over towards that B-bomb site with the timing of these grenades? If Vanessa finds nothing in the apartments, is there a rotation? Is there time for a rotation? Around the 40-second mark, one would say yes. But do they use that lurker to see what's up towards that A-bomb site? Looks like they might do. But Vanessa doesn't quite win that duel. So into the stack they go. 4 CTs are here, swinging through the smoke. And it will be the 5-7s. GaBi, Danny, Younger coming through. You feel like you're playing chess, but you don't realize that the other team is the one holding the pieces. Again, the timing of those smokes. The first one towards B, the later one towards A. They kind of looked for some information towards A, but didn't really commit to it. Ended up going into the stack. And that's where the danger rises at the hands of MIBR.
And this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier when they lost that first CT side pistol, and I was like, oh, well, do you force? Well, like, what is the plan here? And they did, and it didn't work out. This time around goes perfectly in their hands. They reinforced the correct site, and as FlyQuest start to push in, they had some decent utility still left, even after throwing out so much onto Banana early on, and they can stem a lot of that tide and shut down FlyQuest very, very quickly. An economic reset here, which does bode very well for MIBR.
It's a costly lesson, but as I like to say, if you're going to have a problem like that, have it early, rather than Matt deciding later on. Poppins making bank now with that Mac 10. Goddess with the new and improved French gun, having a great time. And MIBR are quickly into the driving seat. But again, that's a warning. Yeah, if FlyQuest can detect that with a little utility, their movements were basically dictated to them. I mean, again, they had that person to go and find if there is a stack on A or not, but didn't actually properly do the job of finding that information. They kind of half fought somebody and then ran away. So, you know, they could have done a better job there. But again, let's see what they can do in the future now. They'll be eating grenades on Banana, that's for sure. Bibian, she's been a big fragger. That's an expensive loss. Goosebreeder walking through a smoke will be punished for it. We saw it on Dust2, we see it on Inferno as well. After this exchange, though, 2 CTs are lost also. A 3-on-3 with a minute 30 on the clock for the T side. Can be promising for them. What do MIBR choose to do? Weak everywhere at this point. Do they risk a 3v1 on the B-bomb site, or do they go and find information? We can see Younger's cleared top mid for the time being, but again, a minute on the clock. They're not going to get here in time. There's no way Goddess is standing at the end of this. Starting to move down mid. Don't think she's got any sound cues yet. Won't be able to drop the first one. So, a 2 versus 3. Could find an isolated fight with Marie. Younger will trade, keep it a 1 versus 2. It is clutchable. Oh, she's got a HE as well. Vanessa's on 24. Does she send the HE towards New Box? Does she dare pull out a grenade here? So risky. No one's showing. There's the HE for New Box, looking for the second fragger, down to the 1v1. She has a kit also, but Emmy is quick on that trigger finger. That was a scary one for FlyQuest, but they will be successful.
Phew, yes, very much down to the wire there. And that type of round is exactly, it harkens back to what Nuke was talking about with the T-side trades and why they're so important. 3 versus 3, but your CTs have to be so spread across the map. They can't, like, I suppose they could. They could 3-stack a site and then play fully for retake. But it's not always going to be the best idea. So you find the site they find B relatively unguarded, and it's easy pickings for them to overrun it and maintain control.
Fight rages on for the banana position. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves over time. Of course, the CTs have those retake grenades on banana as well. It's very important, though, for FlyQuest to establish control of banana. So when they set up a round later on, they have the threat of going B or A, should they be able to push the CTs off of top mid. Cutting noise for the time being. Poppin still having a look towards the apartment. So there's good info to keep 3 players towards B here for MIBR. Danny will get punished though. I think that peak might have been a bit dry. No blind players. But again, there are still 2 more, but will that be enough? Maybe it will be. Goddess and GaBi combining. And now Goddess is alone, stuck ahead of the molly. Nowhere to go. MIBR on the rotation now. Again, how much do you throw at this? That AWP is so important for the squad. They don't have money if they lose everything. Do you want to go to the point of no return? You might be able to fish for a little. Poppins only has a 5-7 also. They just are not equipped for this.
There's a part of me that was wondering if Poppins was going to like underarm that HE to maybe we get Younger with like a sneaky little exit frag through the smoke. But no, opting not to, probably the best call there, rather than potentially offer up your Younger, your AWPer rather, as a free frag. Now Poppins has managed to find herself a Mac 10, so that's pretty cool. And into the next round, they'll at least have that little bit of firepower. But as you said, right, they have so little, limited in cash. Even if they, because they still kept quite a bit of util from the previous round. So this can actually be a 0-spend round with some legs. Maybe not necessarily to win, but to do some of that damage and to slow down this momentum that FlyQuest are building. Like, now is the time where you have to kind of hamstring them a little bit. If you allow them to keep getting these rounds relatively unscathed, then it presents a long-term problem. So at the very least, if they can use that Mac 10 and that AWP to get 2 or 3 kills in this round, even if they don't manage to secure the round, they've done a whole heck of a lot.
If FlyQuest are able to topple a giant here, they would be playing Imperial Valkyries later on. So it really is the nightmare run for them. If MIBR are to come out on top here, I feel like they'd elevate their game to their opponent.
All right, BB.
Hide and seek time. Younger with the AWP. This is good work. This is good discipline that we want to see from FlyQuest. There's still a very dangerous AWP on the server. Goosebreeder is thoroughly investigating the B-bomb site. She has secured it. And now they can rotate and deliver the goods. Finesse will be kept in situ. So the net will be a tight one as Goosebreeder heads through CT. This is great. This is a disciplined FlyQuest, which I like to see.
Ooh.
Great work. Wonderful stuff. Really good stuff from FlyQuest. Again, it's the simple stuff, but doing it right is what makes you an effective team.
Absolutely. Limit those mistakes as far as possible. I think given how that last map went, and maybe a part of the difficulties on the second map were the fact that it was Nuke, and maybe they just weren't expecting that pick to come through in this series. But we're starting to see that, we're starting to see semblances of what we saw from them on the first map. Much cleaner, much more clinical, much more well put together, as opposed to on Nuke where things did look very shaky.
No heavy damage this time taken by FlyQuest on Banana. A different approach. Very good util, forcing the CTs back. Methodical map control being taken by FlyQuest. No one playing top mid for MIBR either. You can see the shortcomings in how many FAMAS are on the server. Heading towards that minute mark. No lurker being left on Banana. Now, are the CTs close enough to hear those footsteps? I know Marie did. But what of the people around the corner? Oof. This looks tight for the CTs. Simple pop flash. Where are the trade fraggers? Goosebreeder running wide and delivering a second. Attention to details good. Flashbang, swing into sight. Round's over. Nothing for MIBR to do. A difficult CT side for them so far.
Yeah. Not really finding any sort of purchase. And again, the mind games certainly come to play here. You know, you're going for that really aggressive banana control. And that's, again, it's standard stuff, bog standard. But FlyQuest then opt to retreat. And instead, they pick up the bomb and they start moving over towards that A site. And for some reason, MIBR have made the read that all of this util is here. It's probably going to be a B hit. And so they move Goddess over from the A site, effectively leaving the A site as the weak site. And at that point, you got 5 FlyQuest players running straight at you. Beautifully placed flash. That means that Poppins gets absolutely nothing. And they can just overrun. Easy, uncontested. It's a good read from FlyQuest, but certainly potentially it's either a misread from MIBR or they had chosen to save before the exec even happened, which is not possible. So hopefully they can get a bit of a better understanding of what FlyQuest's plans are and how the utility kind of flags what their plans are.
Emmy on the T side of Inferno with the AWP will be interesting to see how much efficacy she can find on the remainder of this half. One of the more challenging... Oh, very nice grenades. Good tray there, Bibi onto Danny. Yeah, one of the more challenging sides to be effective with an AWP is the T side of Inferno. GaBi on point, and Goddess is there to keep the numbers even at least. Those trade stats are going to stay good for MIBR, but the score might not. It's going to be a long journey for Younger and Poppins to be able to aid Goddess here. Very difficult indeed. And again, Goddess just has a difficult task. Isolated the fight, but again, FlyQuest with the AKs have been very effective. So FlyQuest have identified weaknesses and they continue to exploit, keep finding Goddess alone on the B bomb site, abusing that numbers game. And the remainder, again, it's just so awkward. These scenarios for MIBR, looking for information through A, and you referenced it before, like sometimes it might be, well, I don't want to say it might be better, but there is a choice to stack a bomb site together so you have a good defense. If they go the other way, you can save anyway.
Yeah.
In that scenario, they've got one person on B, two people on A, pushing through apartments, kind of in no man's land. You know, you're not really getting a lot of anything there unless they rotate. But why? What reason would they be given?
Personally, I'm a little bit surprised at the lack of proactivity from MIBR. It almost feels like they're playing a bit scared. Like, obviously, they're playing for banana control, but it's not aggressive control. I think we've had maybe 2 instances where a player has pushed a little bit further into banana and has been punished, and so they've just stopped doing that entirely. We haven't really seen them go for any mid-aggression. We haven't seen them go for any crazy, like, apartments aggression. They're playing very site-bound, and that's making it really easy for FlyQuest because they're getting so much map control completely uncontested. I mean, think about what we saw on Dust2 and how MIBR were able in so many rounds to force FlyQuest into uncomfortable situations because they pushed out so aggressively, and now FlyQuest have nowhere to rotate to. They have to hit a particular site. We're not seeing any of that now on Inferno, and they're just kind of allowing FlyQuest to run rampant.
I don't think Younger's been able to show her presence on this CT side thus far. She'll have an AWP for round 9. She will be looked for, though. Oh, big grenades on Banana once again. A lot of utility dumping here, but there's still 10 people on the server for now. Goose Breeder hunting, spots one by the smoke. Oh, she catches both of them as well. Goddess, again, finds herself alone. She was offering the support flashes from the back. Somehow Goose collects 2. I thought she was a goner, but she had other ideas there. And again, Goddess has an impossible task ahead of her with the FAMAS in the back. And the round's over. Not much for Younger to do there. Maybe send her towards Banana at the beginning. But there's so much junk being thrown. Smokes, HEs, incendiaries, flashbangs. I'm not sure if she knew anything about that second one. She saw I think, one swing from the smoke. Collected 2. They are being stifled. MIBR are being stifled by FlyQuest. I think they have done a good job of spotting weaknesses and exploiting them. And they haven't tried to mix it up. They're essentially saying, give us the reason to stop taking Banana and going B. And so far, MIBR are more or less unable to do that.
And it's kind of crazy because we've seen some really good util usage on Banana from MIBR, so much so that it actually gets a crazy amount of damage done. And even when they have that advantage, the HP advantage, so to speak, they still can't convert that into anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Goose was one of the ones that got chunked down so heavily and still manages to crack open that round with a double kill. It's a little bit unfair. And for MIBR only having 2 rounds at this late stage in the first half, how do you recover from this? And I think that's part of what's playing into why they're playing so scared right now. We're getting closer and closer to the half, and it feels like they're playing more and more passive as this half goes on.
She doesn't look like it, but Bibi has been the 500-pound gorilla on the FlyQuest team. 12 for 5 here on Inferno. Delivering consistently. And indeed, the AWP has gone over towards the B bomb site, but FlyQuest have mixed it up, they've changed it up. They're staying ahead of the game, keeping MIBR guessing. One minute mark. Unclear as to what the play is. Somewhat devoid of information are the CTs. They have no one towards top mid. When you've got that AWP towards A, as you often see Ramsin do for NIP, just going back towards mid and getting that information. They don't have it on this occasion. Younger's finally getting some action. Not the action she wants, though. Do MIBR have a solution to these B plays? on the back foot round after round. How many can they afford to give up? How many times can they save? 20 seconds. Bomb not planted just yet. Now Bibian posts up with the AWP. Hold on a second. This one's on now. They'll definitely go for this one. There's no kit on the players. There might be one on the floor. Clearing positions. They've got a smoke for Banana as well. That's where Vanessa is. How does this play out now? Goosebreeder trying to pre-fire. That smoke's so big. Poppins will be facing two without knowing it. No peace to be found on the B bomb site for MIBR. It is a sanctuary for FlyQuest.
There's only 2 rounds left in this half. We are staring down the barrel of a potential 10-2 half, which given the first 2 maps, I didn't think that was possible. I really thought that there was going to be so much more of that back and forth and struggling to build up econ because the rounds are so close. But it's MIBR constantly on the back foot, constantly playing defensively and never really taking the fight to FlyQuest. And maybe this is a round where that changes because we are seeing some posturing.
So good to see a FlyQuest this strong. I think Goose is a generational talent for the North American region who hasn't been going as far as a player of her caliber should, but maybe things are about to change. 8-2 versus MIBR. We've been singing their praises for months and months and months. But perhaps now it's FlyQuest's turn. 1 minute to solve this problem. Their turn to be at a disadvantage. God, it's caught sleeping though. I don't know if she's looking at the radar or something, but didn't seem to respond to Vanessa's presence there. Oh man, look at these frags from Vanessa. She has also been incredible for FlyQuest. Vanessa and Bibian, standout players. Might be a quiet one at half-time for MIBR. This is such a... This being savaged by the T side. Emmy with the Krieg as well. Danny, 6 HP, walking into a crossfire. Near impossible situation for her. Instant trade from Goose, and that's round number 9.
Mentally, how do you come back into this? When you're at such a strong deficit on what is an elimination match, where you find yourselves on the precipice of not making playoffs, of not being able to continue along in this bracket after a very hard-fought first couple of maps. How do you recover from this? I don't have that answer, but I'm not a pro player. I don't need to have that answer. So perhaps that's what needs to happen now.
Goosebreeder lives for engagements like this. GaBi on the barrels. It's just free-for-all deathmatch for Goose. She can do that all day. However, the bomb is somewhat trapped. In the hands of Vanessa. I wouldn't be too concerned if I was a FlyQuest fan. CT starting to rotate now. Now those grenades would suggest that the bomb hasn't made its way to the bomb site just yet. And that is shifting to the bomb site, the T side. So we've got a fight on our hands. Younger's got 12 HP. And Poppins has picked up a Krieg. So this is going to be a funky one. Waiting for a flash to come through. Everything going the way of FlyQuest. Oh, nice from Poppins. Clutching it with a picked up Krieg would be something special. No kit for Poppins in this last round. Lurking in the smoke is Bibian. Putting out a howl of misery. That is a monstrous half from FlyQuest. Just a few rounds away from eliminating MIBR. MIBR's championship is on life support at the moment. 2 rounds from 12 versus a resurgent FlyQuest. A FlyQuest we haven't seen the likes of for a long time. A FlyQuest we've been waiting for. A FlyQuest who seem to be very present on this server. Playing fantastically well. One round at a time, sports psychology for the FlyQuest team. Don't think about the victory, think about the round. They've been so good on these pistol rounds. All but one have been secured by them. All but one are over towards the A-bomb site, however. But have a look at this retraction from Vanessa. Emmy can rotate with the retake utility, a kit, a smoke, a flash. They've been so disciplined, FlyQuest. It's been so good to watch. Many girls making their way up banana then. Bibian will head towards CT with her util. And it begins. 2 down. No response from MIBR just yet. These pistols have been a nightmare, but Danny has something to say. posting up now. But the fights will be isolated. Look how that smoke has been used. They've been out-positioned, out-maneuvered, and often out-fragged in these pistols. But this time, it is Vanessa versus 2. The kit's on the floor. I'm not sure if she gets anything else out of this one. No, she'll be punished by Goddess. That is such a critical pistol round for this MIBR squad.
That's an insane round from Goddess as well. What was that, 4 kills just for her? Massive. Really just kind of taking things into her own hands. 2 pistol rounds won for MIBR over the course of this series. But they've managed to maintain their lives and keep things going just a little bit longer. And a crucial pistol round, because it's given them a little bit of room to breathe, a little bit of room to work with here. FlyQuest have not opted to go with the force here, which I think is the correct choice to make, which makes that second round a little bit, or the third round, a bit scary.
Timing of the HE won't save them. Poppins doesn't have the time to reload. So the frags will be collected by Goddess instead. The wheels are turning for MIBR. They are early rounds, but the wheels are turning nonetheless. It's nice to feel success no matter what form it comes in. Operation Keep the CTs Poor has begun for MIBR.
The comeback time?
Potentially. For them it's comeback time. For FlyQuest, no. They want to close things out. Although it would be interesting to compare what those Kevlar 5-7 rounds look like for FlyQuest, this new and improved, disciplined FlyQuest versus MIBR. We know they're a strength for MIBR, but it's a question mark. I want to go on that journey of discovery.
Nuke, get on that.
With FlyQuest. Well, they need to play the rounds out and see how they do.
Yeah, that's fair. Much needed timeout, it feels like. Not like, so it's FlyQuest timeout, but I feel like MIBR can really use this moment as well. Very early on in the half, but there's still so much that can go wrong for a team that is on the precipice. And of course for FlyQuest, it's 2 rounds that they've lost, but now they have guns, so you take a moment just to kind of make sure that that momentum doesn't turn into something and steel yourself for the next few.
Lightning fast for MIBR. Straight through the molly. Those crappy CT mollies. Danny is here to take map control. It's a great angle for Goose, but she's holding down 2 jobs, so timing will play a part. Oh, very good position, actually. Goose is so good. GaBi Younger and Poppins remain through the smoke. They try to go. It might just work out for them. Positions are being lost, but there are still grenades for the CT side. 3 HP for Younger. A minute on the clock, surrounded by CTs. Heading towards maybe the inevitable. FlyQuest look unstoppable versus MIBR on Inferno.
There is a phrase that I feel has not been said in far too long and needs to be said.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
No. Close. The goose is loose. She really, really is. It's so cool to see her consistently being such a force to be reckoned with. And okay, Bibi's still a couple steps ahead of her in this particular map, but as the IGL, to continue to be so scary to try and deal with, it's beautiful to watch. 1 round away from map and series point. This is a new and improved FlyQuest that I am very excited for. It's all under her guidance.
If this is the end of the road for MIBR, it will be out with a whimper and lots of reflection to do. They're still in the fight for now, though. Galils are out. Good armor penetration on those, and they'll need it. Bibian drops 1, traded. She's got info. They know that there are more than 1 player in that long position. Presence being shown through the smoke, but they're ready for Vanessa. Distraction tactics won't work on this occasion. Now, as that smoke goes up, you have to ask how much FlyQuest throw at this. Look at the money, or the lack of money. If there are upgrades, collect them, but are you really going to go for this? Kits on 2 players. Marie lining up some utility. That clock is really ticking. It might be a question of exit frags at this point. Yeah, I think it would be too risky to go for that one, but Marie's still hanging out. So I guess they want to go for the exits and make it expensive for the T side.
Oh my god.
That will certainly be. But was it worth it versus what they lost? That is a question maybe for the desk. I think if they keep 3 weapons alive there, they can buy around them. We'll see what they're able to do in the next round. Hey, there can be more than one correct answer. But for me, I'm holding on to those rifles.
Yeah, I mean, that should have been 4 players going through to the next round with their guns. For Goose to get this much. Okay, and a lot of them were really low HP, so it didn't take a lot. And I wonder if that was something that was communicated to her. Like, listen, they're all really low. If you just chill, maybe you die, but maybe you make their lives a living hell. And that's exactly what she did, and that's rough.
For me, you want as many buy rounds as possible. And they kind of lost one here. But at least they have something to show for it in how many rifles they took away. So there's that. But I feel like this is still a dangerous MIBR. It can still make a comeback. So you want to minimize those opportunities by maximizing your buy rounds. But here we are.
I mean, this is never a team that you can count out altogether. Remember, they were undefeated in South America in the entirety of the regular season until the final week when they came up against Furia. And of course, Furia being the best team in South America, wow, that was, it was always going to be a tough one for them. So they did end up losing that. But that was the only series they lost throughout the entire season. This is not a team to take lightly.
Poppin's turn to be the harasser on Banana. So map control has been established very promptly towards Banana. Now, will they force the CTs back towards top mid? There was a smoke on long, which Bibian has been hiding behind, so she will be able to glean information from this position. You can see Younger asking questions. So this is the classic denial of information. Take Banana at the start, force the CTs away from top mid, and then they have to guess, where do they put that third player? However, they still have that information towards that top mid. Now, will they be rotating a player over? Do they have util to stall on B? There's a flash and a HE. Oh, the HE could be quite spicy. Indeed, it will be. Emmy catching another one. So there will be rotation in time. Look how many CTs are here. The T's are surrounded. Gooseberry looking for the transfer. Cavalry come storming in. It's a trample. Marie catching the last 2, and it's match point for FlyQuest.
That round was over before it even began. And so many of the rounds where MIBR have done well, they were these like really quick, explosive bursts onto site. But for this one, FlyQuest, they reinforce the right side. They are so ready, and they don't play a slightly more advanced position towards top Banana. In fact, they're playing further back towards the site, almost like a false sense of security for MIBR, giving them a lot of space to work with. But it's one of those noose traps. And as they step in, they pull the cord, and well, a little bit of rope, and they hang themselves with it. And it's beautifully done by FlyQuest. And this is now a problem for MIBR because it's map and series point. One more round and they will get to advance for FlyQuest. But MIBR with such a huge mountain ahead of them, if they want to take this to overtime, if they want that stay of execution, if they want one more chance to keep their dreams alive in the Season 7 finals. They cannot afford to make even a single mistake. And with the way FlyQuest are having their complete run of this map, it's a tough ask.
Cheeky. Confidence being shown by Goose. 19 frags. The top fragger at present. Vivian just behind. MIBR not doing enough top mid in that last round. Ending up facing an army on the B-bomb site. And now it may be the last stand. Emmy dropping pop-ins, resetting for another go. Falling back to the site now, and she can be that distraction. She can dangle the toy while her teammates get active. Bibi will be dropped though, but Vanessa and Emmy will still stand. GaBi and Goddess versus 3. Vanessa with some very awkward angles, low on bullets as well. And there might be life in MIBR yet. 30 seconds to get the bomb planted. Goddess alone versus Goose and Marie. And guess who's coming around the corner from that short position. Denied though by Goddess. Down to the 1v1. And it's the young upstart Marie to get that last frag. FlyQuest will crush MIBR on Inferno and take a step forward in the bracket.
This is so incredibly exciting for FlyQuest because they have not made a playoff since Season 3. So to be able to be one step closer, one series away from making that magic happen is undoubtedly